Hi, my name is Isaac Camacho, and my discussion will be why adopting, especially a teen. Adoption helps build a child and provide with a long, loving care, a home with a loving care, which every child actually deserves. Whatever age range they are, usually child fostering is usually up to the age of 21. Most children do lose hope after the age of 14 due to the fact that people don't tend to actually adopt teens. Also, it helps couples or single individuals that are unable to have children of their own obtain the opportunity to be parents. Many of these children come from homes that are destroyed. Many parents do not want these children and, in fact, also neglect them because of it. Parents that weren't prepared to be parents throw their children off to the curb, neglect them, do not feed them, or abuse them. And in that case, many parents are unable to become parents, take advantage of that, and become parents in this form. Now, the Global Header U.S. website, CNN World, actually shows the population of adoption in the U.S., which is so much greater than the other countries around the world. 21,616 children are up for adoption in the U.S. alone, compared to the second largest, which is in China, which carries 11,228 children in particular for adoption. Now, these statistics are seen on CNN World, and these are the top 10 nations of origin, and this basically just shows the amount of children up for adoption that do not have any homes currently. Okay, as children grow into the orphan system, many people just forget about taking them in as a child just because they are going through a hard stage, which mainly are the teen years. Usually in New York alone, is considered 10 years and older. In most states, it's considered 14 years and older. We see many children aging out of the orphanage at the age of 21, not really knowing where to turn to or how to even survive. At the age of 14, the orphanage in foster care actually puts these children into a program in which is mandatory for them to be prepared for the future. They are taught how to make resumes, prepare resumes, go into mock interviews, and also write up checkbooks. Unfortunately, these children, once they age out, they are given an apartment paid apartment for 3 months. After that, they're basically on their own. Most of these statistics usually show, especially in New York in particular, high rate of adolescent teens, 21 through 23, not really finding a family to adopt them, so they end up going into the shelter. After those 3 months of being paid for by the government, basically they do not have a source of income, or they haven't been able to find a source of income at that point. So they end up just going back into the shelter, going back into the system, and it's just a rolling cycle. These kids, they really want one thing. Some of these children that are 21 through 23 have been able to be successful in life, even though they have not found a family and have aged out. Some of them are attending college and working at the same time. These kids want one thing. They're still out there. They're still in these foster care agencies looking for families, even though these families will not get paid for them. They want a family to tell them, we are proud of you. That's basically one of the main objectives that they are looking for. They need that support. Children are mostly taught that after 14, they will not have a chance of being fostered, less adopted, because they are told that no one wants to adopt a teen. In reality, it is possible to adopt a teen, but of course, they are going through their confusion state. They are very difficult to deal with. Currently, there's many of them, even at the age of 20, they're still trying to work in order to find a family. They try to sell themselves, going to different events, trying to find a forever family. Most of these kids at the age of 14, they're taught in these classes, these mandatory classes, they're taught to how to pay bills and and how to have debit cards when they won't even have one anytime soon. They tend to panic, so at the age of 20, they are forced to begin to look for homes, in which the government would pay the first 3 months, as stated before, and after that, they will be on their own. Homeless youth statistics you can find in CovenantHouseCalifornia.org. It shows a statistic which mostly the teens in LA. These teens age out of foster care, and they are about 12,000 to 15,000 homeless youth living in LA alone. 10,000 living in the Bay Area alone. And these statistics are as of 2011. So imagine, this is 3 years ago, these statistics, and coming to now, the unemployment rate still hasn't progressed as much. These children are forced to leave the orphanages. No background, no encouragement. They are just sent out on their own. They have no mentors, no one to guide them out. Of the 1,050 youth who are emancipated in the foster care system in Los Angeles and Alameda counties each year, nearly 50% of them will be homeless within 6 months. These are statistics that are shown in Cali alone. Imagine every other state, especially those that carry really big cities. These cities are the ones that carry the most orphans. People get stressed out, they end up taking it out on these children. These children are not asking to be in this world. They were just brought in this world and end up suffering. The unemployment and higher rates of unemployment where education is obtained. Incarceration, also, it brings up the demand on desperation. It also causes them to go into higher crime rates. And also public assistance. Welfare offices will be full of them. They are taught to actually go into the system. So they go from one system into another system when it comes to state, and it's just a revolving cycle in which they feel that they will never get out of, unless they actually have a family to support them. According to the local emergency shelter strategy of Los Angeles County, there are only 468 beds, or 3% targeted for uncountable youth for the Alameda County. Our shelter is the only one serving 18 to 21-year-olds. And these are rates that shouldn't be. These kids should be within homes. They're still 18 to 21. They're transitioning from high school to college. Many of them being in special ed, due to the fact that their mentality has really decreased and their understanding in life has decreased, and because of all the abuse and the neglect. Now, the benefits are actually adopting a teenager, which I found an article, really funny poster in nrcpfc.org. The top 10 reasons to adopt a teenager. No diapers to change. They sleep through the night. They will be ready to move out sooner, but can still visit. You don't just get a child. You get a friend. They will keep you up to date with the latest fashion. No more carpools. They will drive you places. Number 7, no bottles, no formulas, no bump rashes required. They can help out around the house. They can learn from you. And they can teach you how to run your computer. I found that to be cute, but it is true. My husband and I have tried to foster and care for a child, a teenager, and which has become more of an experience of a friend than a child itself. But it has become very difficult due to the fact that at the ages of the teenage ages, they are very confused on their surroundings, and they really do not understand what they really are going through and transitioning through. And being that you are a stranger, just telling them that they will be okay, that they could get through with it, they really do not trust anyone due to the fact that they've lost their homes, they've lost their families. So they really are in a disadvantage at that point in time, and they make their decisions. Most of the time it's not a good decision, but they always tend to come around when they need you for advice. And I guess that's what really being parents is about. I have a younger child of my own, and always asking questions. And as I've noticed, the older child in which I fostered for a time frame was also the same, always asking questions, always curious about things that were not seen in the foster and orphanage areas. And so when I did go to a meet and greet as well, and I met a child that had aged out of foster care. Her name was Brizanne. She was already 21, almost graduating with her master's, and her video could be seen at NBCNewYork.com/video. It's basically a Wednesday's Child video in which she speaks about how she accomplished. She's gone to college, almost finishing her bachelor's. She's going to go on to her master's, and has been working. She's been living on her own, but she is still currently looking for a family. Unfortunately, I and my husband are too young We are close to her age range, so she was not interested in coming and participating in our family. But she's still currently looking for a family with older parents in which she could relate, in which could actually tell her and she could look up to as real parents and let them tell her, keep going, you're doing a good job. She needs that support, and she actually is looking for that support by going and trying to attend as many events as she can, even though she is currently a home health aide, which works about 12 hours a day, and also attends college. So, very proud of her. You can find her interview there. You can also go through You Gotta Believe, which is the agency in which has a mission, which no child will be left without a forever family. Their mission is, even if the child ages out, they will find a forever family. They also work with teenage moms with their babies, and which also need to get adopted, but they would need to get adopted together. Many families do not want that due to the fact that they're traditional. They do not seek non-traditional children such as teenage moms and their babies. But those are the crucial years in which they need the support in order for their children not to end up in foster care as well without their moms. Most of the time, that's what happens when they are not adopted or fostered by good parents, and they are left in the orphanage. Most of these children, what they start doing is becoming stressed, then nobody really wants them, and start abusing their children as well and neglecting them just to feel self-satisfaction, and just makes everything go around because those kids will end up trying to look for a forever family as well. So You Gotta Believe is an organization in which will provide you also with the classes, the 10 classes by state that you will need to obtain in order to adopt or foster any child. They mostly work with teens, so if you do go through them, you could look at their profile, YouGottaBelieve.org. They're excellent. They're very quick. And they provide you with all the classes and even free home study, in which most agencies do charge in. They also do advocacy, and they do a lot of events in order for you to find the forever child. Next is a JCCA program association. That stands for Jewish Child Care Association. They deal with children of all ages, even up to the age of 21. They do provide also classes in order for you to adopt or foster children. Now, the child in which we have fostered prior was from JCCA, but they do also help you obtain a child that is younger than a teenager. They will sit down with you and explain the benefits and the disadvantages. They mostly focus on the fostering, yet they do strongly believe in adoption. The offices are located in all different parts of New York State. Now, this organization has multiple areas, going from the city all the way to upstate New York. They train you in therapeutic behavior, because once teens hit the mandatory classes, they become very emotional because they lose hope. Most of these children, they go into special ed, special education, and become very aggressive when they hit their teen years, due to the fact that they become very emotional, very confused. And that's one of the reasons why they give you therapeutic classes in order to adopt or foster any of these children that are going through these emotional roller coasters. The agency works very closely in transitioning and placing teens in the homes with forever families. Now, they're very detailed on that, and they really try to look and match every child that they have to a family, depending on how the family is and what the family would like in their home and what is best for the family. Now, for any adoption information, you can reach any of these agencies. The first one is You Gotta Believe, spelled as You Gotta, as GOTTA, Believe, all one word, .org. JCCANY.org. A Family Forever. A Family for Every Child.org. AdoptUsKids.org. And Wednesday's Child.DaveThomasFoundation.org. These are all the foundations, these are all agencies in which you can also look into their websites, obtain their phone numbers, and call them for more information. No obligation is needed. Just a nice, simple call. They will explain everything you need to know. These are free classes, free home studies. These are things that usually outside agencies will probably charge, but yet these are, even the attorney's fees are all covered in order for you to help these children find a home in which you could tell them and encourage them to do right and not do wrong. Whenever you see them going the wrong way, you'll be able to be there for them and tell them to do the right thing in order to continue. They need homes, and you can provide it for them. And as long as you can provide it for them, that will put a smile in their face. And same thing with you, as self-satisfaction and happiness, as they teach you and you teach them. We all learn, and we all go through an experience. But this is just a learning in progress. And if you're able to hold up and tolerate it, same thing with them. You guys will work together, and it would be an experience in which you could let everybody know around you and help other children obtain a family of their own. Thank you for listening, and you have a great day.